What's going on, YouTube? Thank you for joining another freaking day of COVID, another day of parenting and social distancing. We appreciate you viewing. So today is going to be I think it's going to be a fun one. We have our buddy Perry here, who's going to provide a different side, different perspective, because obviously there's always two sides of a coin. Unless you have that coin standing up on its side, then I don't know what to tell you then. But today is a very interesting one because it actually just happened where my daughter was, and this is my eldest daughter, she's still in school doing the distance learning, and my youngest one, she's pretty much done for the day. And she was playing with some toys, dolls or whatever, and my eldest one, while still in class, while still in front of the camera, was trying to tell my youngest, don't play with my toys, leave it as it is, don't mess it up. And I looked at her, her name's Aria, and I was just like, Aria, aren't you still in school? Yeah. Don't worry about what your sister's doing. And I said it in such a way that, obviously as a dad, you have certain voices, right? When you're nice and kind, just feeling generally pretty good, you're like, it's kind of soft tone, it's like generally not very aggressive. And the thing is, to me, I didn't think my tone was actually that aggressive. I was just like, Aria, let her do what she wants to do. You focus on your school. I said kind of like that. But man, the look on her face, whoo, she was about to tear up. If I had actually kept on going and just grilling her, probably would have seen some tears. Probably wouldn't look so good in front of the teacher,
Yeah, well, I'm biased. I'm a dad too, and I don't see anything wrong with that. You weren't like full-blown yelling at her. You weren't cursing at her. You weren't like being rude, really. You're just like, you just set her straight real quick.
Yeah.
And I think kids need to learn that. Like, I think all kids should have that oh shit moment. Like, oh fuck, I fucked up.
Yeah.
And then just and just be like, okay, like, well, one, it's gonna stop me from doing what I'm doing, so I don't want to piss off Dad more because he seems kind of irritated right now, right? And he's not going at me anymore. Like, you weren't like continuing. You weren't like going after she stopped. So, I don't see anything wrong with it.
And again, the topic, in case anyone missed it, was like, are your kids scared of you? And to be honest, I didn't think I went overboard, but what I've been told by Luann is that I go from 0 to 100 quick. Like, I can flip it like no other. And she's like, dude, you need to kind of gradually get up there. I'm like, no, why do I have to gradually get there? Because if I gradually get there, I'm going to freaking flip out, right? Because it's like, okay, you're telling me to go through steps of anger. All I know is one step, not anger to anger. I'm not going to be like, all right, you know what I mean? Like, what do you want me to do?
Yeah, I kind of get what Luann is saying too. But again, we don't have patience like a saint. And I think Sophia is way more patient than me. But I've seen her snap too, I've seen her go like she asked the girls to brush her teeth and then they're still like messing around. And then there's no gradual, she would just be like, I told you to brush your teeth right now.
Yeah, with a stern ass voice.
Yeah, with a stern voice. And they go, oh, okay. I'm like, that's effective.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it totally is. Like,
yeah.
We're not being physical, and I don't think we're being verbally abusive.
No, it's just being stern, and like, in a perfect world, if we could clearly, somehow take a step back from every situation that they annoy us about, or like they're doing something like that they shouldn't be doing, then we can be like, hey, like, why are you doing that?
Yeah.
But then the thing is, by the time my philosophy is, by the time I have this conversation with them, if I would have just said what I said in the beginning, like what you said, it would have been done. I would have gotten my point across, and she would have stopped. Whereas me working it, like, why are you doing that to your sister? Why are you saying that to her? Just leave her alone. And then the rebuttal, like, well, she's playing with my toys. She's not supposed to. She knows she's not supposed to. You got stuff to worry about. Why don't you handle that? I'm not gonna expect my kid to be like, you're right, Dad. Okay.
Yeah.
Because they don't get it, you know. They don't
No,
get it.
not yet.
Like I'm all about the tough love, and and that's not, that was even tough, really.
It
Right?
wasn't. Dude, I was very mild, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I mean, I think it's good to kind of talk in such a way where you're not like raising your voice like crazy high. But I also think that with the way that I spoke to her, I hope it I don't know, it reemphasizes the fact that there is a certain way that you have to act. And there's a certain more or less rules under my roof type of thing where it's like, dude, do what you're supposed to do and we're good. The moment you start to kind of act out of pocket and really lose focus on what the main priority is, whatever it is, it doesn't have to be school or cleaning up or whatever, but it's like, you have to understand that there's things that you have to do, there's rules that you need to follow. And I think being the authoritative figure, I hope I am, and I hope it's not going to leave like a blemish, you know, but I think between me and Luann, I think I'm the more stern one that, you know, where they know is like, if I start to gradually raise my voice or go 0 to 100, they know to like, dude, they need to act right. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm the same way. I'm definitely the enforcer, for lack of a better word, with us. And I the way I'm gonna justify it here, but the way I justify it is that it's effective. It works. And is the question, you know, the question is, are they, you know, are they afraid of me? I don't think they're afraid of me where they're like, I just don't want to be around Dad. Like he's like really aggressive, or he yells at me and all the time, something like that. I don't think they've ever had that moment, but there were times where like there was some tough love, especially when they're in the younger years. You know, just a lot of things, you know, accumulate to them when they're like 2 years old or so, right? They're mobile, they can kind of talk, but they don't really understand everything. And then, you know, it's just frustrating on both sides. So, you know, frustrations come out, and, you know, I raise my voice, you know, but I don't think they were ever like, oh my God, Dad's coming, no. You know, like,
I think that, you know, that you bring up a great point, because there were times where I did feel like that, where I'm like, oh man, my kids, they just don't like me at all. And I think, especially like when Luann goes to work, she's graveyard, right? So it's just gonna be me. And I just have a feeling like they're like, man, we have no choice but to be close to this guy. You know what I mean? Like, it's actually kind of fun. You know what I mean? But to your point, I don't think it's gotten to that point, and I really hope it doesn't. You know, to where they're like, oh man, I really don't want to be like to have anything to do with my dad. You know what I mean?
And I don't see that in your girls either with you. I you know, we're doing what we need to do to keep them in line without, like, we're not going overboard. I'm not like beating them, or like even like, you know, or even like, you know, raising my voice really at them, you know, just a little bit, kind of just like, hey, we gotta go. You guys hurry up. And then, you know, if you're gonna, honestly, we have to, our girls, they gotta learn how to be tough too. And we're like the first line, you know, like of like toughness, I suppose, you know, to test themselves. Because like when out there in the real world, like other kids, their peers, kids are mean.
Oh,
you know? Yeah. So they kind of gotta grow a thick skin. So if they can't take me saying, hey, hurry up, and they start like tearing, like, Dad just yelled at me because hurry up. Like, well, you are in fact slowing down everyone, and we're waiting for you. You know, you know, at this point, do you want me to be more irate? You know,
because I can be.
Because I can be, and you know, I'm sure you feel this way too. Like, we hate being like this. I hate being like this. You know, I never want to be like this, but you know, I can't help how I feel, and that goes to your point with like your whole conversation with Luann. Like, I can't help how I feel, and if it comes out like this, it comes out like this. But I'm mindful enough to not let it go overboard, where I'm just like, what the fuck you doing? You know? Right? Like,
dude, if you go straight like that, that's like 0 to like 1,000. It's like,
dude, if I go hood on
dang.
You know, like, I mean, that's uncalled for. You know, like, you know, if I'm gonna if you get me angry enough where I'm gonna walk by your room and do a walk by, drive by, whatever you want to call it, you know, like
No,
that's a different level, right?
I know. I mean, it's like one of those things, and this is an experience with one of our parent friends where it's like the kids were crying and everything's like, "Don't make me give you something to cry about." I'm like, "Nah, man. Like, I'm not. Nah. That like." And you know, he was just saying it. He didn't do anything, but I don't know what's really going to happen, or I don't know what's happening in the background.
Yeah,
but
what does that mean?
yeah, exactly. Like, I don't know, and I don't want to see it. I don't ever want to get to that point, you know. But it's just, you know, I mean, come on, you know, these are kids, and I think that's always a reminder. But I think, and I firmly believe that nipping it in the bud sooner rather than later, and like not perpetuating that kind of, you know, behavior.
Yeah.
I think is definitely, and I'm not saying like it's a telltale sign of like good or great parenting, whatever, but I think as a parent you have that responsibility and almost an obligation to actually set your kids right, because, and it's not to scare them, it's just to kind of help raise them to be, you know, good citizens, to be good adults, good people, you know, to know right from wrong, and to know that they have priorities, you know when to have fun, know when to be serious, and know when it's time for business, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. I mean, like kids grow up without understanding the rules and limitations of a lot of things. When they get old enough to comprehend that, we expect that for them.
Oh yeah,
you know,
for sure,
right? And so when they, you know, are out of line, like, you know, like, okay, look, whining about your sister playing with the toys is hardly out of line, but you need to be focused on your schoolwork, you know.
Yeah.
A couple things, right? One, you're not paying attention. Two, you can get in trouble by your teacher if you're like distracted, right? So as you, the, you know, parent slash, you know, home teacher at that point, you know, you'd probably do what a teacher would do at school, which is like, hey, like, you know, without talking about the sister, but like, hey, you need to pay attention. That's basically what you said, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the thing that that I feel like it's effective. You know, short and sweet, effective, and you know, if they feel really bad that they got yelled at, you know, you can explain to them later, like, hey, look, I don't like to yell at you. I never want to yell at you, but you know what? You're not paying attention right now. You know, like, I don't want you to get in trouble at school.
Yeah.
So that's
that's the thing, and you know, it's just a constant reminder. To be honest with you, and you know, hopefully it carries with them as they go throughout their school and career and beyond. To be honest with you, and you know, just to kind of go back to whether, you know, are your kids scared of you? I don't think so.
No.
Because the thing is, if they were scared of you, they wouldn't be testing you this much. But at the same time, like, do you think they actually realize that they are testing you as much as they are? Like, dude, I mean, come on, man. Like, if they were scared of you, would they, like, every, like, 2 minutes ask you, hey, daddy, look at what I can do. Oh, hey, daddy, look what I drew. Hey, daddy, look what I cut. You know? And that's the thing, right? So I really don't want to get it twisted. I don't want people to kind of think that, you know, with you being stern or me being stern or whatever the case would be, that is going to set your kids up for a certain mental issue growing up as they get older. Because I don't think it is, right? Because kids, they are way more resilient than we give them credit for. And I think, and it shows, like, for my kids, I give them a stern warning or whatever, and within about like a matter of seconds, they're just off playing whatever, right? They don't sit there sulking about it, right? I think the moment that they actually start to sit there and start sulking about it, that's when you know, hey, maybe I'm a little bit too rough, maybe a little bit too coarse, and maybe it's something that we need to think about or work on.
Yeah, or it could be them. You know, they may be in a mood, right? And you're giving orders to both of them. Like, let's just say I'm talking to Zoe and Emma. I'm like, hey, you know, 2 minutes on the, you know, on the iPad. 2 minutes comes. I go, all right, guys, you know, iPad down. Let's go brush your teeth. One of them listens right away. The other one's just like, oh, I'm gonna watch some more or whatever like that.
Yeah.
You know? And then, you know, my initial thing was like, hey, it's bedtime. You gotta go. I'll say it more sternly. And then if you're still like giving me attitude, I'm like, hey, what's the matter? Like, you know, what's the matter? And then most of the time they're just tired at that point, you know? Yeah. But but my first reaction is just to be a little bit more stern. And then if there's still more pushback, I think for us as parents, that's where we got to gauge that level of pushback, because we're gonna get it. I mean, our kids are young right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when they're in their teens, we're probably gonna get a lot more pushback because they're gonna think they're smarter than us.
Dude, yeah, I'm just thinking about like pushback, talkback, sassiness, unwillingness to do anything that the parents ask. Oh yeah, that's coming. That's coming for sure.
But this is what that is. I mean, what's happening now with us and how we're nipping in the butt is training them for when they get older. That like in our household, we don't play that.
Yeah.
You don't have to play that. And I'm not threatening you, with anything like physical. Like maybe I take away some of your house privileges, but like in our house, that I don't like to get like this, and we've gone through this over the past years, whatever like that. So you knowing that, and then you also defying me in doing this right now. Okay, well, what, my first instinct was just like, hey, like, what are you doing? That's basically the dad voice, like kind of like, hey, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Right. And then once they respond with like, well, there's some type of excuse, then we gotta set them straight. We gotta set them straight, and then just be like, hey, you don't need to be worried about them. Worry about yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and that's a very, very true thing. Look, the way I look at it, it's a how many year war, like pretty much their whole life, right? It's a constant war that we're always going to have to fight in battle, and I think this is just our way of kind of venting and just really bouncing ideas and thoughts off of each other, to be honest with you. There's no right or wrong way. Obviously, some methods are more aggressive than others, but again, at the end of the day, this is our experience, and this is what we do, and more or less this is what works for us. And I think I said it again, or I said it before, and I'll say it again, but there's no right or wrong way. But obviously, I mean, I don't want to get into that, because I think we both know what the wrong. Yeah. But yeah, to be honest, like I've never really laid a hand on my kids. I don't think I ever will. Maybe play like, taps here and there, just kind of re-emphasize, hey, I mean business, but it's not to the point where I'm like spanking them or, them crying or anything along those lines, because I don't believe in that. But again, these are just my feelings and my beliefs. And same goes for Luann as well, but it's
that's great. Wasn't that way up over here? Just
no,
I'm not proud of it either. It's just the example I gave from when like they're like 2 or like 1.5. I mean, it was like really overwhelming and a lot of frustrations. And I would like smack the back of their hand. Bank on the butt. But we don't. But something that Sophia has always told me was like, any type of scolding or reprimanding, you need to follow it up with an explanation. So maybe it doesn't have to be right away, but eventually you do, while it's still kind of fresh. So I always think about that. When I did back then, when they're little, when it got to that point, even though they may not understand me, we always made up at the end. I always say, like, when I calm down, because I need to calm down too.
Oh yeah.
And I would go and be like, hey, Daddy does not like being like this, but like you're not understanding, the rules here. You can't be doing that. It's not safe for you, or something like that. You can't be running around with the scissors,
like pointed like directly.
And I go, I grab it out of your hand, like, hey, what are you doing? Don't ever run with scissors. Do not ever run with scissors. And they start crying, like I want to cut the paper, and like all that stuff, right? But it's like an example. But definitely, not my proudest moment. But at that point, like that's what I knew. I mean, not knew. That's what I guess that's how I was raised. And the explanation part, though, is nothing that ever happened when I was a kid. That never happened.
Oh yeah, no,
but this is good, to explain to them, and we're always cool after.
I think the explanation piece of it. I mean, you can, definitely sit down and talk with your child and let them know why you got angry, but it can't just be like an explanation, like, oh, I got mad because you were doing something wrong, or because I was angry or whatever, right? There has to be some substance to it, right? It can't just be so vanilla, or like, oh, you can't do that. Why not? Oh, because I can, or because whatever the case may be, right?
Yeah.
Like that kind of explanation. It doesn't solve anything. It doesn't really add very much substance to anything, right? So, but yeah, no, I mean, I just thought it was funny, to kind of bring up this topic, because I know that each of us have really been through things like that in the past, like those kind of discussions and everything with our kids, and just really making sure that they understand where we're coming from.
Yeah, I mean, and it hardly happens now, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like them bickering. I mean, it's like little things, and I was just like, hey, like, you guys can't be hitting each other.
Yeah.
And right, like, just for no reason, like, and you can't be hitting each other, and but no, I don't ever get pushback on that. No one goes, why, Dad?
Yeah.
Why can't we hit? It's then if you're gonna challenge me, then I'm like, well, you really want to know why?
Yeah.
Because you can really hurt each other.
Yeah.
I gotta deal with it. And what if you break a finger, or like break an arm, or get your eye poked? Would you like that? Once they hear the explanation, they'll be like, oh shit.
Oh yeah, I guess not.
Maybe I should.
Yeah, we kind of go like eye for an eye type of thing, right? Oh, you hit your sister? All right, go hit her back, see how it feels. That type of thing. So that they understand. But by and large,
I've used that too. Yeah.
Was that? Yeah.
I've used that too. You smacked your sister's face because she was in your way. Like, how would you feel if somebody just came over and smacked your face for doing nothing?
Yeah. Go do it.
Yeah. And then most of the time it's like it's this like.
Yeah.
Good. They, oh, and why is it not good?
Yeah.
Because it hurts. Do you like it when someone's mean to you? Then why do you do it?
I don't know. I just did. Oh man, always a fun topic. Always a fun talk. Yeah. But it's a Friday, guys.
Don't beat your kids.
Yeah, don't beat your kids. That's for sure. But I know we covered quite a few things here. But definitely let us know what you think. Let us know what you feel. But like I said, it's a Friday. Enjoy the weekend. Be safe. And as always, Perry, thank you very much.
See you,
Stay safe. Peace out, everyone. Bye.